There I was, trying to determine the best way to teach poker strategy, and I'd written all the stuff down, and you know what? I ripped it all up and I threw it all away, because it was no good teaching Texas Hold'em strategy without defining personalities. Using one play against one player was right. Using that very same play against another player was wrong. So I said, let me kind of describe the personalities, the types of people that you're liable to play against. And I said, further, let me further classify these players, these types, as animals. So I came up with 5 animals. I came up with the eagle, the mouse, the jackal, the elephant, and the lion. And I'm now going to tell you each one of their characteristics. First of all, the lion, who is the best player in the game. His timing is impeccable. He knows when to make the right bluffs, he knows when to play kind of weird hands, and yet in general plays very, very tight. And by tight, I mean very patiently. So the lion's pretty patient, but he knows when to mix it up a little bit. For example, the jackal, who's kind of a crazy player, who I'll talk about in a minute, the lion's not afraid to get involved in big pots with him. I'm a lion. I have all the chips in front of me. There's a reason why. I'm a player. Our second animal, let's cut right to the jackal. The jackal is kind of that illogical, we call him in the poker world a megalomaniac. We've seen a lot of jackals winning World Poker Tour tournaments. They didn't get there by playing a jackal-like strategy the whole way. In other words, the jackal plays way too many hands, kind of has an illogical sense about him. When the jackal decides to rein it in a little bit, to play tighter, he seems to crush everybody, because everybody's thinking that he's out there in all these crazy bluffs, and they keep calling him down, and he keeps winning all the chips. So the jackal's kind of someone that has an illogical strategy, puts in way too much action, but when he gets hot, he's going to bust everybody. But more often than not, the jackal will lose. I'm the jackal. I'm a little crazy. I have a lot of fun, though. Now let's go to the mouse. The mouse is you right now. I'm teaching you to be a mouse. Why? Because in sitting there and playing really, really tight and playing Phil's top 10 hands, which we'll get into in a minute, I'm teaching you to be a mouse. You're not going to get hurt when you're a mouse. You get to sit at the table. You get to play a very, very tight strategy. The mouse is kind of like your old Aunt Edna. You know, she throws dollars around like manhole covers. Never bluffs, waits for very strong hands, and is kind of a tough player to play against, really, especially in a limit hold'em game. You're going to be the mouse for a while. Mouse. Then we have the elephant. What does the elephant do wrong? The elephant is what we call in poker a calling station. In other words, the elephant calls way too many bets. You bet, the elephant calls. The elephant's always calling, never raising, is playing way too many hands, and to my way of thinking, the elephant is the worst player out there. He needs to be patient, but he's not. He needs to raise, but he doesn't. The jackal's a better player than the elephant, because at least the jackal makes raises and gives himself a chance to win. And the jackal also builds big pots. So the elephant is a calling station, always call, 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 call. Now, the elephant, if you're an elephant, one thing that you can do is you can start calling with some really strong hands and, you know, and let the other players bet into you when you actually have some strength. Some of the great players actually take that characteristic from the elephant occasionally. Occasionally I'll do it. I'll just call with kings in a limit hold'em game, and I'll let them bet into me every street. And then finally I'll raise it on the end, whereas the elephant just calls on the end. The elephant moves kind of slow. Not really smart. Makes a lot of calls. The eagle. What can you say about the eagle? He's one of the 50 or 100 top players in the world. You see him at the World Series of Poker. You see him in the high-limit side games in LA, in Las Vegas, and on the East Coast, oftentimes in Atlantic City, or in some of the underground New York City games, which basically don't seem to exist anymore. But the eagle is this kind of, you know, great player that swoops down. You know, imagine an eagle swooping down and just scooping up everybody else's chips. The eagle's fairly rich and has made a lot of money playing poker. And the eagle is someone I did not talk about in my first book, or any of my books, or much in my DVDs either. But I will talk about the eagle in the black belt portion of this course. I'm an eagle. You'll see me at the World Series of Poker.